There we go. Yeah, yeah, right. It's January the 6th, 2025. It's 5 a.m. in the morning. So today, going to talk about the beginning of how do you plan and get something like this done. So there's a quote by Denzel Washington on the internet. It says, "Dreams without goals are just dreams, and ultimately fuel disappointment. On the road to your dreams, you must apply discipline, but more importantly, consistency. Because without discipline, you will never start, and without consistency, you're never going to finish." And I talked about this yesterday. Just show up. You just got to show up. And the more consistent you are at just showing up, the more detailed your plans are going to be and your goals are going to be. You're eventually going to lay out a set of plans and goals that you can execute on, and you're gonna start making a lot of progress. There's no doubt about it. The kind of progress that I've been able to make just by showing up has been pretty tremendous over the last couple of years, and I'm very happy about it. There's no question that it's worked. It's worked really well. The uh, the idea for me and the reason it's 5 a.m. in the morning, and I got up at 4:30 and sort of started going through my little routine. But the reason I get up this early in the morning is because I can't find another time at any point during my day where I can focus on the physical part of this. I can focus on the meals as the meals get stretched out during the day, and as I execute those meals during the day. But the actual working out, the cardio and the weightlifting, I can't get that done at any other point during the day unless I get up super early in the morning and get it done. It's the most important thing that I have to get done, so it's the first thing I get done. I mean, it alters my life. I've got to go to bed early, 8:30 at night, to get some type of good night's sleep. At this age, you don't sleep much, and you sleep very inconsistently. But what I found is that if I get to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, there's a good chance that I can get up around 4:30, and then start executing my routine. Get in that gym downstairs. I've got a nice gym. Just get into that gym and start doing the workout. Whatever that plan is, just start executing that plan. Try to get at least an hour and a half, 5, 6 times a week to execute that plan. And you find ways to get that done. Now, part of the reason why I got to get up super early is because for the rest of my day, it's just going to get slammed with a bunch of things that need to be done. First of all, I got little kids. I got like a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, and we homeschool. So my wife and I I'm going to get roped into some of that during the day. And the other part of it is I own a fairly large business. I've got 600 employees that work for me. And I've got a lot of responsibility around that. Those are 10, 12-hour days. So if I don't get up super early in the morning and begin execution, then this is just never gonna happen. What I try to do on a weekly basis is I try to get out the door around 6:30 in the morning, head off. I go have breakfast with my business partner every morning at 7, and then by 7:30, 8:45, he and I are in the office, and we're working for the rest of the for the next 10, 12 hours. We're pounding it through, and we do that very consistently, 5 days a week. And so what I also do is I just get up super early in the morning, get my workout in, get my cardio in, and I'll get my weight training in. And then on top of that 5 days, I've got 3 other opportunities during the week where I can get a workout in. And that has a lot to do with my kids' kung fu. So the kung fu temple, it's a temple. The location where that is, there's a gym that I've discovered. It's just a great hardcore big bodybuilder gym. There's not a lot of people there, but there's some pretty big dudes there. And what's going on there is I've just picked up a 1-year membership, and I plan on using that 3 times a week. I can use it on Saturdays. I can use it on Sundays because I'm right there with the kids. I take responsibility for bringing those kids to Kung Fu over the weekend. And then there's a Monday evening session that the kids go to also. So what I do is I scoot out of work and go to that location. I relieve my wife, let her come home with one of the kids. She can cook dinner, and while my son is doing his fairly lengthy routine, I just go hit the gym again. And so if I can't get a workout done on Monday mornings, then on Monday evenings, I can get a workout done there. So again, I've got a plan, right? I've got a plan, and I'm just consistent. And I just try to find my slots, my windows, to be able to execute a little bit of the workouts that I can get done. So the other part of the plans also is that I know very clearly what parts of my body I'm going to work out on which days. And it varies because it's kind of a moving plan. So it's not like every Wednesday I do this, and every Friday I do that, and every Saturday I do this. The actual plan is a little bit more complex than that. I'll introduce you to that over time. But by the time I get to the gym, or by the time I get downstairs where I'm at, I've already got it printed out, right? Like I've got this huge thing just printed out. And I just walk through that plan real quick before I start executing, and I go, okay, great, this is what we're doing today. But typically, like in this part of the plan and this part of my hypertrophy program, I'm really just working on strength for the next little while. So those are just big 5 exercises, right? It's going to be a military press, it's going to be a bench press, it's going to be an underhanded row, it's going to be squats, and then it's going to be Romanian deadlifts. And you're just working out the big muscle groups to get as much strength as possible. So again, consistency is everything. It's 90% of this. Just show up, just figure out a way that you can get yourself into a situation where there's nothing interfering with your ability to put in 30, 40, 50 minutes of working out. When I started this back in 2022, is around June 2022. The goal back then was to lose weight and get reasonably fit in a matter of 3 months, so that I could have a life insurance medical exam. We have some fairly interesting policies. And at the time, I was a 58-year-old guy trying to get a pretty hefty life insurance policy, a term policy. And I obviously needed to lose some weight. I was still a little bit overweight. I think at that point I was like 185 pounds. But not like I am right now. That was a thin fat, a very, very thin fat, 180 pounds. And so the goal was just lose weight. So it was a lot of cardio, and just crazy weight, just lifting weights for the sake of lifting weights. No real plan around that. But what happened is that after a little while, I started developing sort of this consistency and this, love for what I was doing. It was weird because I had a purpose, right? I had a goal, right? And so it was not just a dream, it was a goal. I had a goal of losing some weight and getting reasonably fit, get my heart rate down. So there was a lot of cardio because my heart rate was up back then. Just get my cardio in, and just try to pass this exam, right? So I was doing my own blood tests. I was running my own blood tests through a service, just checking to see how my cholesterol was and all this stuff. And I just noticed that things had improved over 3 months, like with really like a terrible plan. It was like, it was not a great plan, but what was important is that I was consistent. And that made a huge difference. Just being consistent, just going down there 5 days a week, and making just a little tiny progress, like a quarter of a tenth of 1% per day, just a little tiny improvement. Nothing to write home about, but it was encouraging and it was motivating, and and I started finding that it was me time. It was the kind of sort of time that it was just me. My life is hectic, a lot of interactions with a lot of people. My kids are still at that age where it's, like if you have kids, or if you remember having kids, I'm sure if you're my age, a lot of you have 30 and 35 and 40-year-olds. But, I started late in life. And if you remember having kids, you know that at that age, they're just all over you. Like there's no time. They cannot find a way to respect your time at that age. They don't understand it. So this was just a really welcomed time for myself. One of the things that's interesting too is since I started this, my wife started doing something very similar. She gets up really. She's going to get up here very shortly, and she's going to go do her routine in the morning. And she's not working out. I wish she would. And I think that there's elements there that I can see her starting to move towards wanting to do this. She's very fortunate that she's got a very healthy weight to begin with, but she's in her mid 40s, and she's starting to experience that midlife muscle loss, and she weighs the same that she did 25 years ago, but the body's different. The body's not the same. I experienced that. I experienced that in a huge way. The body just wasn't the same anymore. So with getting up early and finding that me time, and I use my me time to do my workout, and it's really cathartic to be able to do this. The one thing that I find is that while I'm working out, I'll be watching a YouTube video. I've got a nice setup down there. I can watch a YouTube video and sort of, educate myself about whatever aspect of that, or whatever topic I want to educate myself on. But also there's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of thinking, like I'll have thoughts about my business, and I'll have thoughts about my family. I'll have thoughts about, an upcoming vacation. And I'll remember stuff and I write it down while I'm working out. And it's just that time for myself to get in there and focus just on me. I used to feel guilty about that, but I don't feel guilty about it anymore. That time is really, really important. Some of it is almost meditation. I'd call it meditation. There's a lot of times when I'm just repeating exercises and I'm just going through this motion, and I'm very present and I'm very in the moment. We do a lot of meditation, my wife and I. So we're very aware of what we're doing, right? We understand how to be in the moment. We know how to be, sort of deliberate about how we do things. So a lot of my working out is just that meditation. But a lot of it also is just these random thoughts that go through my head, and some of them are important thoughts. They're thoughts about important topics, and it gives me an opportunity to kind of think through maybe some very important business topics, or family topics, or personal topics that or ideas, or just an inspiration for maybe some new food that I could try, or maybe some new supplements that I could try. So that makes it happen. And so this hour and a half that I have in the morning is super important. And I'm getting back into it now. So all of December was a mess because of the surgeries that I had. I was no longer getting up at this time. And so I was getting up later and later. I was going to bed later and later. I was having very disrupted sleep because of the surgeries. There was a lot of post-recovery pain involved. And discomfort, and so there was a lot of times when it was just impossible to sleep. So end up falling asleep at 5 in the morning. And so, how can you get up and keep the consistency of the time, especially if you're not working out? What's the point? So, easy to get out of the habit, but getting right back into it now, right? It's January. Um, the other thing too, for me, is I don't do these New Year's resolutions. I just don't do them. It's a coincidence that it's January the 6th and I'm getting back into my habit. It's coincidental. It has a lot to do with the fact that I'm done with the surgery. Like if I hadn't had the surgeries, I would have been getting up at 4:30 all of December and just all the way through, including Christmas Day. I would have been doing that. But it's January. It's time to go. The holidays are over for me. The recovery's over for me. I'm going to be going to work tomorrow. I'm going to be going to work tomorrow. I'm going to do some work today. We have a major snowstorm here today, so there's probably not going to be any. There's probably no. There's going to be I'm sure it's going to be a weather day. They're going to declare the roads unsafe to travel, but it doesn't matter, right? I need to start getting back into the habit right now, getting back into my routine. My morning routine is very simple, right? I get up, brush my teeth, do my personal hygiene, slap on my workout clothes, come down here and make a cup of coffee. I unload the dishwashers for my family, and I do that. That's I don't know why it's so cathartic. I don't enjoy unloading a dishwasher, but it's part of my routine. It just is. And when I do that, at the end of it, I feel good. I've got a little accomplishment for my family. I'm doing something for them just before I do something for me. It's like I'm paying the piper, right? Like I'm paying Peter to I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul in a way. I unload these dishwashers and put everything away so that my wife has a clean basis to start doing her day with the kids, because again, she's homeschooling, she's cooking a lot of meals. She needs this space to be cleaned up and ready to go. So I do that. It makes me feel, I don't know, less guilty about the time that I take away from my family. And again, right, I'm not really they're sleeping right now, right? The kids are sleeping. I'm not really taking time from them. And by the way, my kids go to bed at about 8:30 at night, which is when I go to bed. Like there's just no point in me staying up another minute beyond them. I would only sit there and watch TV, and that's a huge waste of time for me. I just don't watch television. I'll watch YouTube videos while I work out, but that's the end of it. That's what I do. So anyway, I'm gonna unload these dishwashers. I'm gonna finish my cup of coffee, and I'm gonna go downstairs and I'm gonna go work out. So, what you're doing today, I don't know, but I hope that this inspires you to start thinking about putting together a plan, and figuring out a time when you can do this. Just get a time slot set aside where you can do this. I hear people tell me all the time, I don't have time for this. There's no time. There's no time. And I'm like, yeah, there's time. You can do this. You can find a way to do this. Like if I can do this, I got little kids, I got a big business, I've got a lot of responsibility, I've got a lot of demand on my time, a lot of meetings scheduled. If I can do this, if I can get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, you can too. You just have to cut something else out of your life, and there's a lot of crap that you don't need to do in your life that you're probably spending time on. That's just a waste. You're better off to build a healthy body that'll last you another 20, 30 years. All right. Have a good day. Try to be consistent.